Hello, everybody. Welcome to Fire Yourself Fast, where we're going to walk through exactly the 5 steps necessary to scale your business and free up time so that your business finally doesn't have to revolve around you. So, before we get into the meat of the actual webinar or presentation, I want to be very clear who this presentation has been designed for so you can get the most out of it. Number one, this is for any professional service owner, a business owner, who makes a living from your expertise, your knowledge, or wisdom. So, architects, accountants, engineering companies. In other words, you're in the service business. You went to a trade school, you went to school, college to basically learn a trade or learn a craft, and now you have created that as a business. The second thing is if you use your intellectual capital to add value to your clients, then this is absolutely the right place for you to be. So here's what we're going to cover in the next 45 minutes. And I'm one of those type of people that really like to stay on time. So I can assure you this will be all said and done in 45 minutes because I want to respect your time. In 45 minutes, I'm going to show you how to be able to take a 1 month vacation, or gosh, even just a 1 week vacation each year or multiple times a year without having to field endless phone calls from your team back at home. I'm also going to walk you through how to turn your business into a cash flow machine that does not revolve around you. I had one of my prospects about a week or so ago say, gosh, I feel like I run an adult daycare. I feel like I babysit my people. And I tell you, I can relate. I really, really, really can relate. We're going to walk through how to get over that conundrum here in the next 45 minutes. We're also going to go through how to turn your existing employees into a highly productive team, even if you're not a good manager or even if you don't think you have the right team. We're also going to walk through how to grow your sales 20 to 30% each year without it translating into more hours in your work week. I can't stand it when, especially early in my career, every time that I made a sale, that meant more work for me. We're going to walk through how to make sure that you can still increase sales without necessarily meaning more work for you. And then we're going to walk through how to streamline your sales and operations so that your business can scale and run without you having to be in the thick of things all the time. So here's my big promise. I'm going to give you a step-by-step strategy on how to be able to leave your business for 30 days and come back finding it equal to or better than what you have left it. In other words, I'm going to walk you through how to turn your business into a cash flow machine. So here's a deal I want to kind of just start off with here. I know that your time is valued and you probably got a million things going on around you like email and social media and a whole bunch of other stuff, fires that you have to fight operationally. But here's the thing, give yourself this gift over the next 45 minutes of listening to this webinar. And if you stay with me to the end, I'm going to send you our delegation template. The delegation template is one of the key things that we use with our current clients on freeing up their time so they can work on more valuable things so they're not stuck in the day-to-day muck of the business each and every day. So you stay with me to the end, I'll send you that delegation template. Some of our clients have paid us anywhere between $400 and $700 just for that template and the training that goes around it. So stick with me to the end and it's yours. So first and foremost, does this sound like you? Because I want to make sure that I'm adding value to the right people. Number one, do you feel like your business is your life and your life is your business with no end in sight? In other words, do you feel like your day is Groundhog Day? You wake up and you do the same day over and over and over again. Do you feel like your business revolves around you and shudder at the thought of leaving the day-to-day operations to your team? And are you sick and tired of how to generate all the leads for this beast that you call a business? And in order to be able to make payroll, to make, to pay your expenses, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think that if you only had the right people in your business that you can focus on the things that you love to do versus, my gosh, the things that you have to do, all the things that just suck the energy right out of you each and every day? And are you frustrated by how difficult or time consuming it is to get stuff done in your business? Also, and this is the one that probably pains me the most, ladies and gentlemen, do you miss out on the real stuff, weekends, family time, and fun activities because the work is simply just never done? In other words, do you believe that long hours and endless frustration is your lot in life as a business owner? Well, I'm here to tell you, all those things that just went through there isn't the real issue at all. Those are just the surface level symptoms of a much deeper problem. The much deeper problem is that you haven't made the 5 shifts. So before I get into the 5 shifts, I want to walk you through what it looks like once you actually make those 5 shifts. Number one is you'll be able to work on the things that you love to do in your business instead of the things that you dread or have to. Number two, you'll be able to turn your business into a predictable cash flow machine that is not dependent on any single one person for its success or for its failure. Number three, you'll be able to do the things that you want to do with the people that you want them to do with. There's more to life than work, y'all. And business ownership, true business ownership, truly allows you to have the independence and the freedom that you are after. You'll be able to take extended vacations and still have revenue coming in each day like clockwork. I tell you, I've been there. It is so fun that first time you go on vacation and you find out that your revenue went up and you basically were on vacation. It's actually a really, really cool thing to happen. And you'll have the confidence that your team is taking care of the day-to-day operations in a manner that retains and grows your core client base. So there are 5 simple shifts you need to make to scale your business, work less, and have a business that does not revolve around you. Gosh, I couldn't talk there for a minute. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make those shifts today. Before I do, I want to just kind of give you a little bit of background of who I am. Number one, I've helped over 104 clients scale their business and add a total of $54 million in additional sales while they're scaling their business, while they're getting their time back, while they're getting their life back. Okay? Number two, I've allowed multiple professional service business owners to open up multiple offices around the country. Most people come to us initially because they want to sell their business because they're sick and tired of it and just want to move on. By the time that we are through working with them, they now have shifted from not wanting to sell the business because of the cash flow it's now generating, but now say, look, now that I am confident in my business and I'm finally achieving the level of freedom that I want to take this to the next level. I want to open up new offices and make a bigger impact in the world. So we're going to talk about that today. And we specialize, in over 21 years that I've been doing this, we specialize in working with professional service business owners to scale their business, enjoy more freedom, and enjoy the freedom that true business ownership has to offer. So enough about me. Let's get to the 5 shifts that must occur to take your business to the next level. Number one is we need to set the right expectations, not only of others, but also of us as well. If you do not set objectives with each of your team members, and your team members, by the way, can be W-2 employees or 1099, you need to set them in an objective, specific, and measurable manner. Because if you don't, then your employees or your contractors are going to be left to their own devices, which can spell disaster for you and your business. According to Entrepreneur Magazine, the main reason employers have underperforming employees is because us as business owners, we've achieved such a high level of mastery in our field, we have a difficult time explaining it or dumbing it down to teach someone else. If you set the right expectations in a clear, concise, and measurable manner, then you have taken a vital first step in ensuring that your team is delivering the right results each and every day because they are clear on the expectations that they must meet in order to continue to have employment at your company. Here's the other side of the coin. If you set vague and non-specific expectations, like for example, do your job or go out there and sell, you're going to continue to be frustrated with your team's performance and constantly be pulled back into the day-to-day operations. So you first need to set expectations with yourself before anything else. What's your revenue goal? What's your lifestyle goal? How many hours are you going to work? What are you going to work on? What are you not going to work on? Because if you don't set your own expectations and boundaries on your own business, your business is going to start running you if it doesn't already. Second, you need to set up expectations for your clients and customers. Finally, you also need to set up expectations for your teams. If you don't do that, the business is going to run you and you are not going to run the business. So let me give you an example of what this looks like when it's done correctly. This is Jing Johnson. Jing is awesome. When I was meeting her, she actually already had a successful business. The problem was even though that her revenue was actually pretty strong, she was working like 80 hours a week and she was missing a ton of time with on special events and events with her two sons, especially since her two sons were about to go to college. So what we did is we first and foremost created KPIs and KRIs for each role in her organization. And then we set up an accountability system to make sure that everybody knew what they were supposed to do. After working with her for just a couple of months, her company grew 78%. 78%. And here's the best part. She wasn't working more than 45 hours a week. As a matter of fact, she got to the point where she felt guilty. She goes, gosh, my team is working hard and it's like 3:30 and I'm like, hanging out with my kids. What should I do? And I said, going out with your kids. That's why we did this in the first place. So proud of the work she and her team has done. Just very, very, just a great team. So here's the key takeaway from this. For each position, yours, your clients, and your team, set 3 specific measurable and time-bound results you expect from them, and then build a weekly accountability system to ensure that they're delivering on the expectations you set for them. So that's number 1. We got to set the right expectations. Number 2, stop going at it alone. Business ownership is tricky because what it forces you to do is, instead of getting everything done yourself, which is what we're taught to do in schools and for the better part of our first 5, 8, 10 years of working, is we have to transition from doing everything ourselves to getting stuff done through other people. So according to Entrepreneur Magazine, a business owner has 5 core functions. The first core function is to provide the right resources to their team so they can do their job correctly. Like, for example, set expectations. Number 2, they need to establish the vision of the company and communicate that to your team. Number 3 is we need to build the right culture to support that growth. Think of your culture as the soil that either allows or disallows your company to grow. So that's like your vision, your core values, your SWOT analysis, how you get along with each other, et cetera, et cetera. They make good decisions and they oversee, not do, oversee and deliver the company's performance. Okay. Every once in a while, yes, I am aware that sometimes as a business owner, we may have to step in from time to time and take care of something. That's going to happen no matter what. Jeff Immelt, the CEO of General Electric, from time to time calls a customer or visits a facility. That's just going to happen. But ladies and gentlemen, that should be the exception and not the rule. The reason 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 years is because of this. Number 1, it's poor leadership. In other words, you're not leading your team forward. You're not leading your company forward. Number 2 is there's no unique selling proposition. In other words, nobody can tell the difference between how you deliver the service or what you do in comparison to any of your competition. Number 3, and I want to talk a little bit more about this instead of just mentioning it, which is that they're not in touch with their customer needs. And there's a very, very good reason why this happens. The reason that most business owners get out of touch with their customer needs is because they're spending so much time in the business that they don't have time to look out and see what's happening to the horizon. What are my competitors doing? What are the market forces that are surrounding me that I need to be made aware of so that I can either modify or change the way that I deliver my service to the marketplace based upon their needs. So oftentimes, an overwhelmed business owner goes out of business because they're so bogged down, so depressed, so into the weeds on things that they lose touch with what's going on in the world around them. Next is an unprofitable business model. If you don't have the financial systems in place or the financial facilities in place to facilitate your growth, you're going to put yourself potentially into a negative cash flow model. A negative cash flow model is where you pay for labor or services first and they get paid later. There is there's multiple ways to set up facilities to facilitate your growth. And because we don't have limited time here, I can't get into those, but I definitely recommend that you speak to your banker or CPA or a financial services consultant on all the different tools that you have available out there to facilitate your growth. And lastly, it's poor financial management. As a business owner, we have to know our numbers. We have to know our revenue. We have to know what our gross margin is. We need to understand what our net operating margin is. And we need to understand what each of our expenses are and how they are contributing or not contributed to our growth or to our operations. So it always surprises me how many business owners have not never read a P&L or balance sheet. And I'm not saying you have to become, like a CPA or anything like that, or a, magna cum laude or whatever on financial management, but you have to have the working knowledge of what numbers to pay attention to and know the proper steps to take in order to get your business back on track. But here's the issue, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot be an expert at financial management, marketing, operations, leadership, management, setting the direction of your company, delegating, all those different areas of the business. You can't be an expert at all of them. And by the way, I've tried that, and I can tell you, it's awful. It's like hell because you're trying to learn all these different things while at the same time trying to be the CEO and trying to take care of your clients. Do one thing and do it well. That's the key. So here are the three major responsibilities of a CEO. Like if we could just boil it down, these are the things that we should all be aspiring to one day do only these three things. You ready? Here we go. Number one, establishing and setting the vision for the company. Where do you want your company to be in 5 years? What do you want your brand to look like? What do you want your service deliveries to look like? What do you want to look like in a year? Why are you in business? What do you bring to the table that the rest of your competitors do not bring to the table? So we must establish the vision for the company because here's the thing. One of the key ways to motivate employees is for them to work in an environment where the leader is in business for something greater than themselves. As a matter of fact, I have one of my clients that tried to motivate his team by setting a revenue number. That doesn't motivate anybody, just the business owner. But at the end of the day, to get to where we want to be, we have to communicate our vision to our customers and to our employees that engages their heart in it. And the only way to do that is to have a business person or business person, a business purpose that stands for something more than just making money. For example, mine is delivering freedom to business owners. So everything that we do is asking the question, are we or are we not delivering that freedom to our business owner clients? Number two is develop your management team. Your management team is the key to your freedom. If your management team isn't identifying or isn't tracking the productivity of your staff and making improvements for it and basically putting in efficiencies to take the business to the next level, guess who's going to do it? You are. And you've got enough things on your plate. So developing your management team is a key and necessary responsibility of a CEO. And number three is to promote the company. In other words, how are we going to go about selling our services to our key and target market? Your job as a business owner is to communicate your vision to your staff, develop your team so that they can start making some of the decisions instead of you, and then to grow sales for your company. And this is done by not only having a brand purpose, but also core values and a business vision that your team can buy into. And then once your team buys into it, meaning your management team and your leadership team, then it's time to communicate it to everybody else to inspire them and motivate them to go above and beyond for your business and for your customers. Here's one way to tell, or here's a simple process on how to be able to know what to take off your plate. You want to do what's called calculating your hourly rate. Most people undervalue time and overvalue money. The problem with that thinking, though, is that money you can get back, time you can't. So calculate your hourly rate by taking your previous 12-month revenue, divide it by 2,000 hours per year, and then multiply it by 70%. That is what your time is worth. So the key to moving your business forward is to delegate anything that you do that falls below that hourly rate and only work on tasks that are worthy of your hourly rate or greater. Okay? So that's a key element on how to determine what to stop going at it alone is to delegate the tasks that fall below your hourly rate to specialists. So here's a beautiful example of how to do that. This is Jeffrey Abel. When I first met Jeffrey, from the outside in, it looked like a really good business. He had 21 employees and they're doing about 1.9 million in sales. However, inside the business, there was a ton of turnover. I mean, just a tremendous amount of turnover. And none of their employees were bought in. So what we did is we developed their brand purpose, core values, and a business vision with the leadership. And then we brought in the rest of the team to communicate to them. In addition, once they came all together, so here's what happened. Here's what happened. After we established all those things and communicated the brand purpose, which to them was just, I mean, just an amazing vision. I mean, this guy is a visionary of all visionaries. Once we established the one-page plan for their business and got the employees to buy into it by getting their feedback on it, they were able to grow their business to 4.6 million in sales, and they've grown their team to 45 people, and they're opening an Austin office. And I just heard yesterday, or was it the day before? Day before, I think, that they're now opening an office in Denver. So this works, y'all. You can't go at it alone. You cannot get to the point of your business by just doing it yourself. The best way to get your employees engaged is to communicate your vision to your team, involve them in the business growth process, and work with them to reach their own goals inside of your corporate vision. Here's the thing, y'all. The best ideas that I've ever gotten in my business and I've ever received from my client's business typically comes from the staff level, because those are the boots on the ground each and every day. It's amazing the ideas that they came up with if they're just given the opportunity to voice their opinion. So that's number 2, stop thinking alone. Here's number 3, stop thinking small. Take the small out of small business because it just hampers our thinking. Here's an interesting fact. Ernst & Young each and every year has a growth forum in Palm Springs. Beautiful place, by the way. I forget what the name of it is, but it's beautiful. I think they do the breakers. Anyway, this forum basically helps small companies grow from a couple hundred thousand a year to hundreds of millions. And here's the key element. Here's the first thing. As a matter of fact, now that I'm putting this together, I probably should have talked about this first. But anyway, I digress. They noted that the first thing that needs to change for a business to grow from a couple hundred thousand a year to a couple hundred million a year is the mindset of the business owner. In other words, the business owner's mindset has to expand, and they need to start thinking big. And look, I can appreciate why and understand why business owners think small, because they're so overwhelmed. But in order to move you forward, we've got to get outside of ourselves and start thinking bigger. Here's the thing. There's this wonderful law in the universe called the law of control. The law of control states that your thoughts control your emotions control your actions, and that your actions cause success or failure. So if you're down on yourself and just like, gosh, I'm never going to get out of this, I'm always going to be in this hell called a business, or this hell called entrepreneurship. If you continue to harbor those thoughts, then that's going to affect your emotions, which is going to then control your actions, and then cause failure in that case. However, you think, you know what? No, I do not live in Groundhog Day. I'm going to scale my business. I'm going to get to the next level. I'm going to get to the point where my business is growing 20 to 30% per year. I'm going to get to the point where I'm working no more than 30, 35 hours a week. Then at that point, what happens is your actions start changing. And then the results start changing. And all of a sudden, you start scaling. Henry Ford once said that whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how good these scaling strategies are, all of them are useless if you have what I call the kryptonite mindset. In other words, everything can be in place, all the variables, all the the strategies and the business processes and the business development process. But if you think you're never going to get there, if you think your life is going to be a living hell today, tomorrow, and forever, then guess what? Chances are it is. Once you change your thoughts, it's amazing how fast and how quickly a business scales. If you harbor thoughts of negativity or doubt, you're never going to get there. However, if you focus on what you want, you'll get it, because it's a universal law that whatever you focus on expands. The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, the fear of criticism keeps us back from reaching our goals. So, how do you get over those 3 major fears? The easiest way to release your brakes and get over the fear of failure, criticism, or rejection is to create goals. Goals should be specific, they should be measurable, align with your values, reasonable, and time bound. I've had a lot of people ask me, well, what is reasonable? Here's a great way that I heard it once said by Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy said, look, when you're setting a goal, let's say that this goal setting is a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being that you absolutely have no doubts whatsoever that you can reach that goal. In other words, it's almost a gimme. To a 10 to where it's almost you think it's impossible to reach that goal. In other words, it requires such a stretch, such a huge leap that it's just so far out there. Brian Tracy recommends setting goals that are between like a 6 and between a 6 and an 8. In other words, it's enough to excite you and put a smile on your face, but requires you to stretch yourself and to think differently in order to get there. That is what helps us get over the fears that are so common to us business owners. So that's number 3. Number 4 is create a business development machine. I love this part because at the end of the day, sales is the name of the game. If you don't have any sales, forget about operations, forget about having a team. So many professional service business owners are relying on the old school way of generating new business. Most of y'all are referring on referrals, networking, and word of mouth. And although those things do work, they don't work well because you're relying on a massive amount of effort with very few yield or passive strategies like word of mouth to get business in the door. Instead, we need to have a lead generation system and a selling system that generates leads for you without your effort and without your personal attention. And then we need a sales process to convert those leads into actual sales. I'm not saying don't ask for referrals or don't network or don't do word of mouth. What I'm saying is that oftentimes those things are passive and create uneven cash flow because there's no predictability in our business as to where the next lead or the next sale is going to come from. So if you continue to just rely on passive marketing strategies, you're going to just continue to experience uneven cash flows, more burnout, and have a really, really difficult time scaling your business. However, if you have a proactive lead generation system and a proactive outside selling system and a proactive inside selling system, which basically remarkets to your existing customers, then you'll have a predictable system to grow and scale your business. In other words, you're going to have a cash flow machine. So as you're marketing, you want to make sure that you define 3 things very well. Number 1, you want to identify who your market is. What are their demographics? What are their psychographics? Number 2, what is your message? In other words, what is the unique selling proposition that you're going to communicate to your target market to attract business to you and away from your competitors? And lastly, what are the best platforms to put your message in front of your target market? So those are the 3 M's of marketing. When all of those 3 M's are in alignment, you can generate leads for your business on demand. So here's what I call the circle of awesomeness. And I touched on it briefly, I'm going to touch on it again. To us, there is 2 major steps to turning your business into a business development machine. Number 1 is the inside selling process. The inside selling process is a way to turn your customers into clients, do more business with your existing clients, and then proactively ask your clients and customers for referrals. Because many businesses, when they start to grow or want to grow, think about going out there and getting new business. It is significantly more difficult to get new business than to simply remarket to the people that already know you, like you, and trust you. So if you do not have an inside sales process, start by saying, okay, how can we start asking proactively for referrals? How can we do more business with our customers and turn them into clients? And how can we add more value or offer more services to our existing clients? This then funds your outside selling process to where you can market to the broader market and turn them into prospects, then turn them into customers, then turn them into clients. Then, after you start generating leads, then you can start putting in the 7-step sales process, which is basically prospecting, relationship building, discovery, which is asking questions, presenting your solution, overcoming objections, asking for the order, and then referrals, upsells, and cross-sells. So that's what we call the circle of awesomeness. So the old way is passive referrals, word of mouth, and networking. The new way is a proactive referral process remarketing to your existing clients, and then pay-per-click and LinkedIn marketing or even Facebook. That's the way of the future, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot scale your business unless you have a proactive lead generation system that is consistently dropping leads in your lap and in your sales team lap every single day. So here's an example of this in motion. This is Jared Aiden. When I first met him, he was stuck. He was having a hard time getting over the glass ceiling that he called it of generating $135,000 a month in engineering business. What we actually found out is that Jared was actually the bottleneck because he was doing all the business development for his firm. Not only was he in charge of the business development, he was also managing most of the engineering projects. So what we did is we put together a proactive lead generation process. We found an inside salesperson form because one of our things that our clients get as part of our program is that we actually go out there and find people for their business so they don't have to because they're overwhelmed. And then we developed an outside selling process for his business. In 6 months, Jared went from generating $135,000 a month to generating over $427,000 a month in new proposal work. And now he has, in addition, now that the sales process is being taken care of, it actually allowed him time to start dating again. And I think last time I heard he's engaged. So that's number 4. Here's the last one: invest in mentoring. Here's the thing, y'all. According to the WASP Barcode State of Business, it's likely that 30% of new businesses, 30%, will not survive past 24 months. And then that number rises to 50% after 5 years. However, and this is a big however, y'all, this is like a big but, okay? Businesses that had help along the way and invested in a mentor, somebody who's made mistakes, somebody who's been there and done that, found that 70% of those businesses are still around after 5 years. And a similar study conducted by UPS showed that 88% of business owners say having a mentor to lean on was invaluable. Invaluable. Here's the thing. There are probably new ideas right now in your business that wouldn't have been there except for you making the time to be here listening to this webinar. Wouldn't happen. A great mentor, a great consultant will give you strategies on how to get you from where you are now to where you want to be and help you implement those ideas so that you can turn your goals into reality. Most of my competitors basically give you the recipe book but never get in the kitchen with you. We get into the kitchen with each of our clients because we realize that our clients are overwhelmed, and if we just gave them another thing to do, they would break. So you must invest, whether it's me or somebody else. You need to invest in somebody who's been there and done that and can hold your hand and walk you through it while they're taking some of the burden of implementing for you. A good mentor will also do this. They will also organize a group of people that are going through the same dilemmas so that we can all lock arms and support each other in reaching our goals. That's what a good consultant, that's what a good mentor does. Investing in mentoring can take years off your goal attainment and make the process much smoother and with a significantly less amount of headaches. Because here's the thing. The last thing you need more of right now is more headaches. So here's what I promised today. I was going to walk you through what it takes to be able to take a 1-month vacation each year or multiple 1-week vacations each year, without having to take endless phone calls from your team by setting expectations. We walked how to turn your business into a cash flow machine that does not revolve around you by discussing the cash flow or business development machine or process. We also learned how to turn your existing employees into a highly productive team, even if you're not a good manager, by delegating low-value tasks, by determining what your hourly rate is, and then setting expectations in a clear and concise manner with your team. I also wanted to show you how to grow your sales 20 to 30% each year without that meaning more work for you. There's actually 2 principles we talked today about that. One was creating a business development machine, and number 2 was setting the right expectations with an accountability system wrapped around it so that you can grow your business. We also talked about the inside selling process. Here's the thing, y'all. According to multiple studies, If you simply remarket it to your existing clients and ask your existing clients for a referral, your business on average grows 22%. That's without even having one brand new customer. As a matter of fact, let me clarify that a little bit. If you simply remarket to your existing clients, your business will grow 18% per year. If you just remarket to your clients and asking for a referral, it will grow on average 22% a year without it having to mean more work for you. We also talked about how to streamline your sales and operations so that your business can scale without you. So here's what you need to do to win as a recap. Number one, set the right expectations of yourself, your customers, your clients, and your team. Number two, stop choking your team's success by bringing them into your vision, setting those expectations, putting together the core values, and enforcing them on a day-to-day basis, and then allowing your team to, from those expectations, reach their full potential inside of your company. Number three, we talked about stop thinking small. At the end of the day, no business that I've ever worked with that we haven't seen a shift in the mentality or how our clients thought or how the business owner thought. If that shift doesn't happen, nothing else works. Number four, create a business development machine that does not require you. And lastly, invest in mentoring. So now you have a choice. We're coming up to the end of our time together. And I want to walk you through first and foremost how it can help. My team and I have set aside some time the next week to speak with you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your business starting today. And this, like I said earlier, this is not some phone call to talk about how to lay more burdens on you. This is something on how to get your business to the next level and stop the Groundhog Day effect. And here's how much it costs you for this call. It's absolutely free. It's absolutely free. You would be foolish not to take us up on this offer. So again, here's who this is for, because I don't want you wasting my time, and I surely don't want to waste yours. Number one, you've got to be absolutely committed to scaling your business and dedicated to do whatever it takes to get your life back, grow your business, and build an asset that spins off cash even when you're not there. You've got to be ready. You've got to say, you know what? I'm sick of this life. I'm sick of missing my kids' baseball games. I'm sick of working myself to death and the bank account not noticing. I'm ready to actually have a business so I can actually sell this thing one day for a lot of money. And your business must stand for delivering extra results for the clients you serve. If you're interested in doing a below average job for your clients, then please do not set up a time for us to talk. Here's why we're doing this. The reason why we're doing this is because we deliver freedom to business owners. And we're going to show you step by step exactly what it's going to take to apply these principles that we just talked about, these 5 principles, into your business. And if you want us to help you at the end of the call, and if we think it's a good fit, we may even invite you to become one of our clients that we'll take on this month. If we work together, we're going to put you through the same exact program that we put our clients through. This curriculum had been proven and time tested to scale your business so that you can finally enjoy your life again. And ladies and gentlemen, this program is, like I said earlier, it is not, here's a recipe book, go figure out, let me know if you need something. We are in the kitchen with you. And we'll expect you to be able to step away from your business and scale your business within 4 to 6 weeks. So here's how to take the next step. Right below, you're going to see a button, okay? And that button is going to take you to an application. That application is going to ask you for like your name, your phone number, your email address. It's going to ask you about 10 to 11 questions about your business. Because when you schedule your call and when we get on the phone together, I don't want to sit there for the first 5 or 10 minutes just kind of getting to know the basics of where you are now, where you want to be. So that's going to help me as we get on the call to know kind of where you're at so that we can get right into helping you scale your business and get your life back. So spaces are very limited, y'all. These things fill up quickly. My calendar fills up quickly. Click the button below. It's going to take you to our application page where you can then schedule a call with me. And it's going to be me, not anybody else, not my team. It's going to be with me. Click the button now, and I look forward to speaking with you soon about how to scale your business, your particular business, and free up your time.